I'll call the meeting to order with the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right. Good morning, everyone. Any changes to the agenda this morning?
Yes, Madam Chair. Since we were talking about the AEDs, I'd like an update on our safety things in the county. I know environmental had a lot of issues out there, and I kind of dropped the ball on that. Have a lot of those been rectified? I just wanted to know.
Does that need to be on the agenda, or can you just talk about it?
Well, it's under the county administrator report.
Yeah, that's why I was just wondering if it can just be part of.
I can update as much, yeah.
As much as you know.
As much as I know. Sure.
Okay.
The AED policy got me thinking of that is all. So.
Yep.
Any other changes to the agenda? If not, I would entertain a motion.
I'll make a motion to approve the agenda
I'll
with the
second.
change.
All right, any further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. All right, on to the minutes. Do we have any corrections for the minutes?
I have one, but I don't know if we're
We
gonna,
figured you would.
yeah, I know. There's no commas in this one, I don't think so. But, so on page 1 of 4, number 3 under committee assignments. I don't know if that was our exact motion or not, where it says motion and second. But it kind of looks like the only thing that we don't have per diems for is the TNT hearing, like the Board of Appeals.
I think it should be worded,
Yeah.
I highlighted it too. I think it just motion and second to not have per diems for the TNT hearing, township meetings, and work sessions unless determined by the board, and a per diem for the road tour. I mean, to take the two things that aren't per diems and say if, unless authorized by the board.
Yeah.
And then just say the TNT meeting will be, because right now it's fragmented into
It's
three.
fragmented in it, yeah, it doesn't,
It's hard to understand.
that's all I had.
Any other changes or corrections?
Madam Chair, on page 1 of 2, under the recognition of Commissioner Meyer by Commissioner, probably for what reason? I mean, because he has a cold or no, for serving as board chair in 2025, why we recognized him. And then under regular business on page 1, let me see what I have here. Probably a little bit more explanation on the 5 to 2 sheriff's cars. Just saying the 5 sheriff's cars, as 3 were previously authorized.
Yep.
I think that was all I had.
All right, anything else? Otherwise, I'll entertain a motion.
I'll make a motion to approve the minutes and the changes.
Second.
Any further discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. On to the consent agenda. Anybody want to pull anything from the consent agenda?
I wanted to pull item 9.
Okay.
I have a question on 7, and I think it can be answered without pulling it. So if you look at page 17, I think it's on page 18. Page 18, if you read through those 8 items that the counties have responsibilities for, it's number 8 says project costs for CASA 37 will be paid by Becker County. Yes, but what else is Becker County going to pay for? Are we going to pay for the part of 39 that comes through ours up there, or not going to pay? To me, it doesn't
Just
clear.
pull it, Jim's coming in, so.
Okay, all right. We'll just pull
Well, I
it.
think it's Clearwater 39 and Becker 37.
I think you're right, but it doesn't.
But we want to make that clear.
Yeah, I don't want to
Gotcha.
pay for their road.
Yeah, we're not paying for that.
No.
Yeah. Okay. So we'll pull number 7 and number 9.
Yep.
So we'll put number 7 with Jim's. Where do we want number 9? Under,
Mm,
I'm not sure what the questions are, but
Number 9 is the EDA contract with
you can put
MMCDC.
it under administrator, if that makes sense.
Okay.
And then between the two of us, and then we'll send Cody a message. if there's
Yep.
other
Okay.
questions.
Okay, so removing number 7 and number 9, do we have a motion to accept the consent agenda
I'll move to
Approve.
or approve? Thank you.
I'll second with the changes.
All right.
Or with the, not changes, sorry. I'll just second. I'm stop talking.
Okay. Any further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. All right, open forum. Thank you. Mr. Schramm. Good morning, Jerry.
Good morning, everyone. Jerry Schramm, Erie Township. I was here 2 weeks ago and watched this fiasco with the Schlotteroff family. I believe that you mistreated those folks. I believe you ignored Detroit Township officials, and it's time to quit putting this off. This old phrase about kicking cans down the road, man, you got the right picture there. This should have been rectified in 1993, should have been taken care of last summer when it was talked about, and here we are in another year. The calendar has turned. Please, folks, do the right thing, make a decision, and let these folks get into their place. After all, how much money does it cost? We spend lots of money out at the dump. Put the fence up, get her done, call it a day. Thank you very much.
Thanks, Jerry.
Thanks, Jerry.
All right, reports and correspondence. Anybody want to start with their reports?
I will. I'd like to start with some good news, Peggy. A few months ago, we had that bulletproof glass that from Sheriff Glander's department, and it was put up for auction. It was installed in a local school here, and that picture was sent out. So I think that's a really good use, and I'm glad that really came to fruition. I guess I would like to tell our other department heads, I mean, I would never know that this stuff is laying around. If it is, and we can use it in our community to benefit our community, please bring that to our attention.
What did we get? What was the price on it?
I never did hear.
I don't remember. It was maybe 100 or so.
I think it's just good, though, that it was offered, and, I mean, I think that's important, that it's not just, I mean, I think anyone had a chance at it, and.
Yeah,
I
it was
think-
up for.
And I'm glad it went locally and got good use, so.
Okay,
Shane will be texting us, I'm sure, the price in just a minute, so.
so that's good news. Obviously, with government, nothing happens overnight, but it's put up for auction, and it finally did get to a good home. So I had a RAC meeting. Before our RAC meeting, Recreational Advisory Committee meeting, I went up to Bemidji and met with the DNR up there. Jay Carlson was really interested in trails. So we took a day and we drove up there and met with Dave Schlotzko. Dave Schlotzko, you know him? He's the trail and access coordinator for DNR. Expected to meet with for an hour. We spent 2.5.
I can't imagine that, you getting overtime, Bill.
But it was worth the trip. Ben Berge he's the regional coordinator. But we just had some things to talk about with trails and stuff. It was beneficial. Jay is very interested in where the Heartland Trail goes. So just trying to use that to our benefit because he wants to help that, and we all want to help the Heartland Trail along. Also on a Recreational Advisory Committee, one of the big discussions was talking about uniform signage through the county. Project 412 is kind of taking the lead on that. But I think at some point, when we come to a conclusion, there probably will be a cost to that for the partners in Becker County. Is that Wanigan Park, Frazee, Detroit Lakes, Becker County. But I see that coming down the road, and I just want everybody to be prepared for that. I think uniform signage, we talked about Otter Tail County and how they're kind of unified with their signage down there. I know Crow Wing has nice signage, looks really good. So I just wanted to share that. We spent a lot of time talking about that. How do we bring together the snowmobile trails, the woods and wheels trails, the ATV trails, just our regular walking trails? How do we bring that all together and give a uniform look
Have you
to
looked
that?
at Otter Tail signs? Can we just piggyback on theirs? I mean, if they've got a good design already,
Got the otter, I think, on theirs.
oh, we don't want an Otter.
No.
We want a Becker.
Like I said, we're at the beginning stages, but there is a funding committee that I didn't go to the meeting, but it is there to see what this would cost moving forward.
Well, we have to have the signs anyway, so I mean, it's not like we're going to be paying for signs, whether they're,
And there was some, I thought, up in Highway, I thought we still made signs. Is that true or not? I guess, I don't know, I'm on Highway, but I thought we have a sign thing up
We
there. Is
have a
that just
sign
you?
shop.
Do we make
Yeah.
them though? Do we put the reflective stuff on them?
Yeah.
Okay,
They can't, they're not gonna want them. They make some signs.
Like general,
I just see it,
like not fancy ones.
I just see a lot of M&R signs down in Fergus Falls, a big sign company, and I wasn't sure if we got those from them or we get the empty blank sign and then we make it, but regardless, I'll figure that out as the time comes. So we also talked about Wanigan Park, and I'm really glad this came up now. We talked about the roundabout, which was going into the park that Becker County had offered or
dedicated some funds.
dedicated some funds. So I also sat on the Frazee Community Development Corporation, and we talked about, I said, hey, what have they agreed? What does the county agree to, just so I know? And all they said was the dollar amount. I said, well, because they're talking about bringing a road in there and paving the parking lot. And I said, well, how do you build a roundabout if you don't have curbs and stuff? Well, nobody knew anything about anything except the dollar amount that we had funded. So that remains to be seen what that all looks like. The dollar amount is still there, just I don't know if I'd want to build a roundabout if the roads and stuff coming out of there aren't going to be complete this year. They're talking about doing that this year, so I got to get with Jim on that. We talked about in RAC, we talked about the 2025 accomplishments and our goals for 2026. One of the big goals that we talked about was have a 5-year trail plan, like we do a 5-year road plan in Becker County. Have a trail plan. I hope Mitch is working on that moving forward. Did spend a little time talking about the Osage Beach. The DNR got all of that, those slats, those concrete slabs with iron sticking about them, pulled out. Everyone they could find and see anyway. They got those pulled out, and there was a robust discussion on what that Osage Beach looks like and also the area across Highway 34. The township kind of wants to get rid of that area, or doesn't want the responsibility, I should say. And we still discuss that about what that could look like. There's some property line dispute we talked about up there. Mary, can you
No,
offer a
no,
little?
stop. Mary, she didn't ask. He didn't ask.
I did. There was no conclusion on what the property line was, so conversation turned into, should we be putting money into something that isn't Becker County?
You're
And it was,
talking on the Osage Beach?
yeah, the Osage Beach. It was decided that, you know what, if we plant a few trees and do a little something, it'll make it better for the residents.
Well,
anyway,
let's
so we
be clear
decided
that
to do
the property line dispute is either it's Becker County or state of Minnesota. It's not.
Correct,
a
that is
private
correct.
landowner. So if we upgrade it and it's the states, they're not going to rip it out. I mean,
Correct.
So I mean, I don't see the issue myself.
I agree with Barry. It's not, I think we can improve it and not lose anything. That's not a big deal. I don't think we should worry about it. Nothing against you, Mary, because I know you like everything in line. And I like that about you, but this case, I'm with Barry.
It's the state or us. It's going to be a public beach no matter which one of us own it, so.
Correct. And then just had my first meeting of finance, and I've talked to a couple commissioners about, what,
What? You talked to a couple commissioners, that's string calling about decision-making?
I talked to Barry about finance and what that should look like as the senior member. And what we should be looking for on finance. So that's all I had.
Phil, I did have something, you mentioned something in your report
Yeah.
about a 5-year trail plan, and you said you hope Mitch is organized, but Mitch Lundin, our forester, it just struck me as, I don't know if that's in his wheelhouse to what his job role should be. A trail plan for the forester to conduct. I'm just saying that might be a stretch for him, because it's not like roads where Jim has complete control and oversight of all roads, and Mitch that's not where his main thrust of work is. His is forestry. So I'm just saying, it's a lot to ask for your head forester to do a 5-year plan for trails that he really doesn't have a lot of input in. Or, what you see I'm just saying that it's asking a lot of him, because his knowledge or he doesn't, trails is a pretty big topic, and it could go in 5 different directions on the blink of an eye. So I'm just saying, I would be very cautious, and that's where we are at this time. We were talking about who should be doing these trails, and who is our recreation person. I don't think the job description for our forester I don't think trails is a big part of it.
It's a good point, Barry.
So
Madam Chair, Commissioner Nelson, we just spent $240,000 on a John Deere machine with a mower to cut these trails.
to maintain forest roads.
Mitch is in charge of our recreation department, forestry department, as I see it. And maybe we need to revamp our organizational chart or something like that. But I think we need to have a plan. He said we got 18 miles of road done. He managed a new road being built.
I think your and my thought process, right, or our thoughts of trail improvements and 5-year plan are different, right? I was thinking you're thinking about making new trails, the Heartland trails and connecting trails.
No.
If we're talking about maintaining forest roads, then that's in his wheelhouse.
Maybe I should have said that differently. Okay. Maintaining forest roads, the 53 miles of what we have.
I was thinking a 5-year plan on build out.
Heartland Trail, no.
Okay.
No, it's taking care of
Yes,
what
I
what
completely
we
agree.
have.
A maintenance plan a 5-year maintenance plan on forest roads is completely under him.
Yep.
So I agree with him.
Okay, and that's all I had.
I'll go next. So Erica and I had a Partnership for Health meeting, our first meeting of the year with just Clay County as our partner. So we did, organizational stuff too. We elected officers, and we also looked at all of our grant funding from the previous year when we were the 4-county CHB. So we have year ends and we got year ends on all of that information, and there are a couple grants that we are going to share with Wilkin County and Otter Tail County till the grant terms out. One of them terms out in the middle of the year, and one goes the entire year. So we still have a working relationship with Otter Tail and Wilkin, which is good. It's amicable, so which is good too. So and their new CHB is called what? Prairie Lakes.
Prairie Lakes, yep.
So, and then we also selected a logo, which you guys will get to see because I can't explain it.
It's basically the same.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah. Yep. I also had a historical society meeting, and just one thing that we popped out of there is on February 17th, which is Fat Tuesday for all of you Mardi Gras people. The Holmes Theater has the Mardi Gras Kings event on the 17th, and the Historical Society is going to partner with them, and they're going to do we're going to do a shrimp boil, and then we're going to sell, put it in to-go boxes and sell it to people that want to take it home and eat it. And so I don't know if you know what a shrimp boil is, but it's it's a Mardi Gras tradition. Sometimes it's a crab boil and a shrimp boil, and I've actually done a bunch of them, so it's,
Are they having it, you can eat there too? Or
yeah,
just
you can eat
go-
there, you can
Oh,
eat there too, yeah.
Aren't
Yeah.
you supposed to fry shrimp?
You
Supposed to
can
boil?
boil.
I mean, you can.
Oh, it's awesome,
Supposed to
Richard.
eat it raw.
I think you can eat them anyway, but raw.
It's
They are
amazing.
the best
You have this
fried, though.
pot full of stuff. You got potatoes, carrots, corn, peas, whatever you want to put in there, and crab or shrimp. And then when it's all done, you just dump it out on a table, and then you just go eat what you want.
Feast.
Yep, it's really cool. We've done it live. We've done a bunch of them. So that's just kind of something that is interesting to do. They're gonna treat it as a fundraiser, and I think it might go over pretty well. So. We also at the DAC, we currently are interviewing. We've actually interviewed almost everybody, all of our managers, a couple employees, a couple guardians. We also interviewed an administrator of a comparable facility because we are in the process of going to remodel the inside of a facility. So we want to know what services we should be able to do after we remodel it, what we can do. A lot of life skills. Right now, we can't really teach them life skills like washing clothes and or doing laundry and cooking and grocery shopping and some things like that because we don't have the capabilities in our facility to do that right now, but we will. So we've been talking to people that know and kind of understand what we should be doing and what we can be doing. And then we also talked to them and asked them, especially our employees and our managers, what are we doing well right now and what can we do better? Because we want to make our DAC really good. So and then we also have to decide, and hopefully we decide soon, this board, we have a board meeting at the end of this month, if we're going to hire an executive director, or if we're going to restructure internally, or how we're going to do it, we don't know yet. So that this is going to help us do that too. So hopefully we can figure all that out by then. I think it's going to be good. I think we're going to make it a good place for the community. So, and Barry and I had a courthouse meeting. A lot of it's on the agenda, but we did talk about the AC units in the data room. Judy came in and gave us a bunch of information about how much money she wants to spend in the future. But both units are hooked up to the generator, which is good. So if the power goes out, the generator will kick on, keep the AC units running, and we won't have a meltdown in the data room. So also, she said by March 1st, all the panic buttons should be installed. She gave us an update on the new server. It should be done by the 1st of February. That was her plan. And then they've done about a third of the new emails that are going to be the .gov emails. And we haven't had ours changed yet, but I think we basically told her anytime.
She asked us if we want to change them, and one of the things that your old emails, I think, will just automatically be forwarded.
Yeah, they will.
If they get your wrong address in the interim.
What is it, just at becker.gov?
I know, it's a new email.
I'm not sure what it is.
Do you know, Carrie?
It'll be .gov. I suppose it'd be at becker.gov, I suppose.
Yeah, it's .gov.
Oh, beckercountyminnesota.gov? Oh,
It's all in one.
gotcha.
Just to go on that, we discussed the MMCDC contract, obviously. Talked about the sheriffs might need phone updates in there, talking about additional firewalls for VPN. The door system is failing, the Gallagher, so we're looking at upgrading that in the future. These aren't before us, but that's the good news that we got from Judy.
Yeah.
I think that was it.
And then one thing on the firewall for the VPN, currently we don't have one. So then every 12 months they have to redo the VPN, and they can do that. It's not that they can't, but by doing this firewall, they won't have to do that. And what that does is saves hours and hours of county employee time redoing that VPN instead of having it, and then the firewall takes care of that. So that's what
We went over some new policies,
Yep.
looking at email retention policy and looking at establishing the absentee ballot, which is on the agenda.
Yep.
I think that was it for.
Yep, I think so. And that's all I have, so.
Madam Chair, Commissioner Nelson and Meyer, so courthouse, what are the responsibilities of the courthouse committee? Is it the building infrastructure? Or what other,
And mostly it's, it would be the auditor or auditor's office, the assessor's office, the IT,
Recorders.
P and Z internal stuff, not the, kind of the ordinance. Motor vehicle,
Motor vehicle.
so, and I think,
Administration.
administration and
So
maybe ground.
their place where they are, their
and
buildings,
build-
what they need?
and
Or
grounds and maintenance of the buildings.
what about the social services building? Does that fall under courthouse too?
That would fall under courthouse because that's where,
For maintenance.
for maintenance, for the maintenance part.
Maintenance part, yeah.
And 8th Street would fall under that too?
We, I think it's kind of, there's probably not a lot of maintenance that we've heard about in some of these. I think they just get the work done. But the bigger ticket items, I think, would be, but the maintenance employees are all run through courthouse.
The 8th Street that you're referring to, is that the,
4-H.
yeah, that would go, any maintenance for that would go through EDA because EDA actually
Owns that building?
owns that building,
What about the fairground building? Is that a
transit building.
courthouse, like a maintenance?
That, what, I think he answers through courthouse also, transit. so.
Transit does, yeah.
I think that should be defined a little bit better. I mean, oh, I thought he was taking care of it kind of thing.
Well, you have to remember courthouse just started as a committee just a few years ago. Other than that, it went basically, that's probably why it went through finance probably before that, just finance.
I didn't know that, and
So that
good to know.
courthouse committee started 10 years maybe, give or take.
Yeah, I would say it's kind of a catch-all for those
Yeah.
departments that really don't have their own defined.
Okay.
Oh, we did have one other thing. We did have a work session. You guys were there.
Oh,
Thanks. Can you tell us about it?
But, yeah, no, I just think
what did you get out of it, Dave?
I think we're gonna have a great capital plan by the time we're done.
We finally got to see Carrie's
Yeah.
PowerPoint.
Yeah,
And it was wonderful.
It was wonderful.
it was.
Barry, did you have more?
We had NRM, Mr. Varberg and myself. We discussed the Dutton Locks, the old building. I think we approved to fix that up, and we were not gonna go out for grants at this time because the majority of the cost is the paving and additional asphalt for the paving, new parking lot by the building. So we were just like, there's really not much reason to go for the grant. I mean, unless you can get a significant one. We were gonna wait till 27, 28, when the highway department's going through that area for a paving project to try to get, I mean, so we'll just use it as gravel this year. The Little Sugar Bush Lake parcel, we discussed that and the use of that cabin. I don't think, and I think we want board discussion, I don't think having someone staff that, even on a volunteer basis, is doable. There was some talk about renting it out as a I don't know, non-water, I mean, no water facilities there, but there would be expense there too. So I guess I don't know, Richard, do you think we need board direction on?
We do need some board direction on it.
Should we have it removed or should we have it?
We could sell it. You can take apart a log cabin. When they build a log cabin, they'll build the cabin, fit it all, take it apart and move it and then rebuild it. So that cabin could be rebuilt, or, we could, but there again, there's expense, but you could, there are log cabin people around here. You could take it apart and build some bathrooms or a little shelter with it. Maybe there are things we could do with it that maybe wouldn't be too expensive.
That's kind of what we were thinking, just get rid of it. But then if we just use it as a shelter, and if someone wants to rent the shelter, and stay in, and rough it, we'd have to make sure we do some safety guidelines for steps and stuff. But, maybe we try that. It'll have water access, but we'd have to go through a lot of guidelines and figure out what's acceptable there, what for parking, if you're gonna have boat trailers, are you gonna have a boat launch? I mean, you're not gonna have a boat launch there, but are you gonna have a boat mooring area for if someone rents it and brings a boat and moors it on a dock, or, so I mean, there's lots of there'd be quite a bit of work and oversight, but
I was thinking that maybe you could take it apart and make a picnic shelter with part of it, or some bathrooms, maybe you could make some bathrooms with it, or, I don't know.
I think bathrooms would be easier just to have
And probably,
yeah,
it might be
Porta potty?
porta potty there.
best just to sell it and let somebody take it apart. And I hate to see it go to waste. It's a nice log cabin.
Yes,
But it's
and,
just not-
but it is not finished inside. There's no finishings. There's no, like, there's a stairway downstairs to a, is it a crawl space or is it?
No, there's a basement in it.
But there's no railings or anything, so I mean, and the floor is just plywood, and the walls are just, logs, so it's not finished, not insulated at all, so,
Yeah, it sounds to me like, I mean, I don't think we should be in the business of renting out cabins to rent it. And I don't know that we want to stick a whole lot of money in it to make it worth. So I think I like the idea of offering it up for sale and seeing if you can,
should we put some guidelines together for public auction or public bid somehow and for removal?
Madam Chair, Commissioner Varberg, Commissioner Nelson, we vetted this all last summer through the RAC committee, which has to go to NRM before, but we had the exact same conversation. We came to no conclusion, and we give our department heads absolutely no direction. And that's the way we left it, because we didn't know exactly what to do. Someone needs to own this, take ownership, and maybe just sell it and be done with it.
I would
Maybe
say
that's the best
that
way
would be
to
my-
I
go
think
about
that
it.
is the best
recommendation, too.
idea.
I
See
think,
if we can get-
honestly, I think if we had a structure out there, I'd rather see it just be a yurt, just a domed, nothing in it. Because this one, a log cabin has significant maintenance. I mean, as you move forward, shingles and
staining.
staining and keeping it, and where would be huge. But anyway, I think if the board gives direction, we'll ask Steve and Mitch to put out something for us to approve to put on a public auction somehow to be removed this summer.
I'll move to,
I just think we'll bring it back to the board, but we'll just get something put together and bring it
so
back.
we need to, we'll just direct them. to
We're,
come-
by our consensus, we're asking to get rid of it and put it on a public sale. If it comes back and there's no one taking it, then we have to reconsider. But if there's someone willing to give a couple $1,000 for it, maybe we,
Don't put the price out there.
well, I would get rid of it for $2,000. I mean, if someone offered to, but anyway,
Okay.
I just think we should,
So then NRM, you'll give direction to Mitch and Steve to
I
move
think by
forward?
this
Yeah, I think
board's
so.
consensus, they have
Direction.
direction to go, to put together something. And Carrie, we can maybe put it on Carrie to say, ask her to oversee this. And
Do you want a motion, or we don't need a
No.
motion?
No.
Okay, all right.
I got it.
We also looked to hire a tram person for 26. Hire the seasonal recreation forester, looking at, Becker County had 2 land sales in 25. Mary would have to give us a dollar amount. We had a huge discussion on, there's a cemetery on tax forfeited land. Bud Parker was here and we discussed it, and it's overgrown, and we're trying to figure out how to, the tribe has addressed it, and they want the church to maintain it and be the leader on that. And it was a Catholic church. I can't remember the name of the church up there. Do you remember anyway, so we're going to try to, working to
St.
get,
Mary's.
getting the corners established, and, but it's kind of humorous. There is some concern about going into a cemetery and doing work. I mean, there are superstitions that people don't necessarily want to go in and work in a cemetery, so.
But you remember when we talked about this before?
I didn't want to bring it up, so.
Well, there were some deaths involved. Do you remember this? Or they said the
Well-
people that worked there died. Do you remember this, Barry?
I do.
So this was not,
So I'm not going up
Come on,
there.
guys.
I'm not, well, there was like 4 of them, I think it
So you
was.
said three
Was it
gentlemen that
3?
went in there to help clean up,
Was 3 of
all
them?
died within a year.
Yeah. And so,
That wasn't Bud, that was
yeah, this
someone
was
from the
before.
tribal. So the tribal representatives are like, we don't want, you guys do what you want. But I think we establish the boundaries on it, the corner posts, and give it to the church and let them move forward. And Bud and some people with him went and cleared a nice area out, and there's headstones in there. But there's a lot of graves in there that don't have headstones. So they were looking at getting a, one of those machines that, I don't know what they're called, that can identify graves and then mark them.
It was some kind of radar or something.
Yeah, some ground radar and,
But he said them headstones would fall over, and if nobody did anything with them, the ground would just kind of suck them down, and the grass would grow up, and they'd.
there's a movie going out on this, I think.
He was really, he's been working in all of our.
It's funny though, Bud had said that he's worked in cemeteries. He's very comfortable in there. He said too that, you're
help.
going in there to do good. This, those that spirits are there aren't in there. But he did mention a story that he stopped on his way back. I mean, this is when he was in the service and he came back. This is many, many years ago that he stopped and he was going to pay his respects. And it was late at night when he came back from the service and he went into the cemetery and he said, I have about 2 minutes and I was like, I'm getting out of here. So he even has those, some of those superstitions, but I don't know. We live next to a cemetery where I went to church at and played in it all the time at night, and it never dawned on me. Now I might be a little bit more skeptical going in there and like, oh, I don't think I want to go in there. The White Earth Natural Resource gave an update. They're having a timber auction. They're working with the Minnesota DNR on a memorandum of understanding for the White Earth State Forest to co-manage. And it's things that they've been doing together already. I mean, they were just getting some formality to that, I guess. They have a big fishing derby, February 7th on North Twin Lake. They let us know. And anything else?
No.
I think that was it. So thank you.
I can go next. Mahooby Senior Council, Carla from the Fair Board came over to our meeting. We're going to bring back Senior Day and the senior program. So there was a lot of discussion of what that would look like. Also going to bring back the Outstanding Senior Award. The biggest challenge with that has always been getting nominations and then the winner accepting the award. So if you know anybody that is an outstanding senior, please either let myself know or Lisa Stroshine over at Mahooby. I have nothing to add for Partnership for Health. I also had West Central Regional Juvenile Center meeting. We were able to take a tour of their secure detention, their secure residential, their non-secure, and then their CLIPS program. Their CLIPS program is an independent living program for, it's boys only, but it's for boys 17 to, I believe, 21, getting them out in the community, working, going to school, and then they still have programming at the juvenile center.
Go ahead. I just was going to interrupt you before I forget. So,
You have a low attention span.
yeah, I know. So back to the senior recognition.
Oh, yeah.
So at our last historical society meeting, that was a topic because there were two people on the historical society board that would have nominated seniors, but then they found out. Then they said, well, and then the county just decided not to do it. Like, whoa, wait, hold on here. The Fair Board did not, or I should say the Fair Board. It was.
But you're throwing the Fair Board on the bus, not the county.
No, yeah, they were throwing the Fair Board on the bus. They said no. It was a combination of a miscommunication, and one side said this, and one side thought they said this, and then it went back. But they're fixing it. So
Yeah.
nominate your people next year. I said.
Yes, nominate.
Yeah.
And we even considered like opening it up to maybe people that support elderly.
Yeah.
Like if that's what we need, just to have those nominations. But back to West Central Regional Juvenile Center, the statistics for Becker County, the last couple months are up about 14%. So our usage is going up, which means, for those that don't know, we have that 2-year look back that determines what we will pay for the following year. So that's something we monitor every quarter when we meet, and then we determine that I believe it's in July at budget time. We also approved a new position at West Central. The board did. It, of course, has to go to Clay County for approval because they're technically Clay County employees. But it's called a Facility Integrity and Compliance Coordinator. The paperwork on these juvenile centers in the last couple of years has gotten so intense. If they have, if they have to put a juvenile in their room during normal school hours or activity hours, the amount of paperwork that they have to complete is immense. Same thing with any complaints. So we decided to get somebody there that is good at it and to help with that documentation so that the rest of the folks can be spending time with the juveniles. And then just the residential program is the program that is used throughout the whole state. That's where many of the people that, or many of the juveniles that come are from all over Minnesota because they have such a fantastic residential program. So just kudos to them for doing good work. Then we had EDA, just a couple of housing updates. We did also have our annual meeting where we elected new officers. Tom Clevey was elected to be our new chair. We currently have one vacancy in our public housing unit, but we have 23 applicants on the waiting list. So they're moving through the applicants to get that filled. The Housing Choice Voucher Program, we currently have 48 families with vouchers, 231 applications on the waiting list. And now that we have additional funding, there will be 15 additional packets going out. So we'll be able to take 15 people off of the 231 applications, but they will still need to find housing, which is what the challenge has always been with that program. Maple Avenue, we discussed the RFP. Our goal is we are meeting early in March. Was it March we're meeting early, Richard?
I think we're gonna meet before that, so we would be ready.
In March. I
Or
think
was it? I thought we were gonna meet
I don't remember, but the goal is for sure go out by March so that we can
so
get somebody on, hopefully somebody local. Then we have our West River Townhomes. That's 12 units, long-term homelessness supportive housing. There is currently one vacancy in those, but we have 6 applicants on the waiting list. So it's just a matter of going through them and getting them on there. We also have our Highway 34 home, which we are looking at possibly selling that home just because there's some foundation work that needs to be done, some landscaping. So the board thought it would be better to sell it versus putting additional money into it.
Madam Chair,
it needs quite a bit of work. That
Yeah.
house does. It's just the foundation isn't so bad. It's a block foundation with some hairline cracks in the mortar, and that's normal for that. But it's actually really flat. It wasn't never landscaped right, and so the water does not run away from it. But you can't build up by the house. I went out there and looked at it, and you can't because of the windows and stuff. So you'd end up taking down the whole yard all the way around to get good flow away from it, and then you would end up fixing that. There's some water getting in the basement, and you could do it that way. But the house needs a lot of work. And we really want to get some money to do some housing. We don't have any money to do any housing. We don't have any money to do anything. So we really don't get anything done.
It's a lot of talking.
It's just the way it is there. It's kind of,
Yep.
yeah. So we're thinking that it would be best to sell that house rather than put all the money into it that it needs.
Madam Chair, Commissioner Barber, we have the ability as the county with our own properties to sell
Well,
EDA properties, don't they have?
No,
Highway 34
Government.
is not public housing. It's just a Becker County owned home. So it's not part of the public housing through HUD.
How many homes do we have like that?
25. 25
We have
single
20
family public housing.
25 owned.
Yep. But those we can't just sell. Those were purchased with money from the federal government,
Yeah, that's the,
right?
why is this one,
We
are
have
we
some-
able to sell this one
I have
and
no
not the
idea.
others?
Because that one's not part of the public housing
Yeah.
program.
And I
This
don't know
one is
how we
just
got it, but it's
Whenever we
different.
bought it, Becker
Wasn't it-
County
was
owned
a
it.
small group home? At
No,
one-
it's just a little rambler.
But it was a,
I don't know.
it was a,
It was
It was a
at
group
one
home,
time?
that little thing was?
Okay. Okay.
Not very big.
So which one is that? What's the address there?
I don't know what the address is. I just have it as Highway 34 home.
are we moving on?
Yep, that's all I had.
I just had EDA with Erica and NRM with Barry. So I don't have anything to add.
Anything else? Did you have anything else, Phil? Any other questions? Okay. All right, then we will move on to appointments. Buffalo Red Watershed Alternate Commissioner. Anybody know anything about that?
I think we put all of our commissioners as alternates. I don't know what the,
Mr. Opison was the alternate previously, and so they sent a letter saying that we need to.
Oh,
well, we have,
We
all
need
other
to-
commissioners are alternates.
My understanding was they wanted a specific.
they wanted a specific person. And so whose district is that in? Is that yours?
Mostly. I'm the delegate, so anyone else, if you want to name a second,
Oh, so,
it's for alternate.
Yeah.
So we've
I've
named,
gone a couple times. You
But
went-
we
you
have
went
it.
once, too.
We
I was on the
have-
Pelican River Watershed before, and I've been to a
Yeah.
couple
Yeah,
meetings
been to
up
a
there.
couple.
If you want to, do you want,
I don't.
I mean, if you want to learn
It's an
something about
It's
watershed.
an alternate.
it's an alternate, so it's
You just
not
have to
a,
name an alternate. and
Richard, are
anybody
you
can go.
interested?
Yeah, I'm interested.
You are?
Yeah.
it's,
All right.
it's, just to point though, it's an alternate, so you're,
Right.
Yeah.
and our role is, I mean, just so your role as a, so if you're on the advisory board, and that's kind of what you're looking at, but to be on the advisory board, the watershed has to nominate you and elect you. I mean, we don't just appoint to the advisory boards, they put you on their advisory boards. These are kind of, so it's, right now we have policy committees also, and I think that's what they're asking for on the policy committee, that you'd be the alternate. So it's the Becker County, or the Buffalo Red Watershed Policy Committee alternate, and that's what you're being asked for. Or that's what they want to alternate for, because those are for the One Watershed, One Plan Policy Committee.
so we don't need to appoint they appoint?
Well, for the advisory board, that's
Oh.
different than the policy committee.
Oh, okay.
And that's, but Buffalo Red, we've always had a person on the advisory board, and it's usually the person that we appoint or that we put on. But, so it's kind of, it's a little bit different scenario. You're not on their board, you're not on, but I think this is for the I believe this is for the policy committee. So just name, if we want to name someone, and then the rest are alternates to that person also. But anyone
Madam
who wants
Chair.
to be named as the alternate to the policy committee for Buffalo Red Watershed.
I'll move to approve Richard Verberg as the alternate commissioner for the Buffalo Red Watershed.
Do you have a second?
I'll second.
All right, any further discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
I have one thing on appointments. When you brought it up, it just dawned on me. We got that email from Kyle, a couple weeks ago?
Oh, yeah.
And there's a bunch of them on here that are expiring in January. Well, okay, like 3, but maybe we should talk to Kyle when he comes for planning and zoning and ask him what we need to do
Wasn't
there.
on the agenda, though.
Yeah, it's not.
Talk about that.
That's true.
I would suggest also that you review and maybe stagger some of those a little bit
Yeah,
better.
that was
I mean, there was a bunch of them that were ending on the same
During-
year, so maybe we should, I think that was maybe during COVID when everything got bundled up and just-
Yeah, I believe that was Kyle's suggestion.
Yeah. So really just everybody look at your appointments and,
So then some
Reach
of them
out
are,
to-
some of them are late, so we'll just do them in February. Okay. But
Yeah.
On the agenda.
We'll put it on the agenda in February and then, but we got to make sure, maybe
if they
Carrie.
want to be reappointed.
Yeah, maybe
Planning
Carrie,
and
you can
zoning.
talk to Kyle, see who wants to be reappointed. Maybe if we can stagger some of those.
okay, anything else for appointments? All right, next we will move on to the administrator contract. I do want to make note, when looking at the page 2 of the contract, under salary, that the salary that is listed in the contract is last year's salary. This was not updated. So it should be the step that she's currently on, and then at her anniversary on February 8th, we'll go up to the step 9. Are you on step 8 now or step 9?
I moved a grade, so I think I'm on step 7.
Okay, so we should probably
We could just update that.
update that,
Okay, you update.
Yep,
just for her current,
I
her
noticed that
current
also.
salary.
Yeah, and
And then just up for discussion is, the addition, Carrie had requested to have a county vehicle assigned to her, to be able to use it for commuting. So we entered with the language put in there, and just wanted to bring it up for discussion and possible approval.
Well, I'm totally opposed to it, and Carrie, you're doing a great job, but this is something that, if there was any consideration, it should have been brought up at budget time, and at that time, I wouldn't have supported it either. This isn't part of where I want to bring the county to start offering cars for commuting. So I can't support it.
I would support it because she does travel from her home to different places. And so where it does take more time to come here, and she's doing a very good job for us. So I would support a car. I don't know what the rest of you feel like, but
I think there's policy even for like the sheriffs for bring home vehicles can't be out of county. And unfortunately, you don't live close by, but that's neither here nor there as for this board to consider. I would like to reward you with everything, but we were considering not having a snowplow. We were considering, sheriff's cars. I think you're paid a very good wage, and I think that's where I'm at. And I don't want to theatrically argue this. I'm not going to, but I've stated my opinion, and my vote will be opposing any assignment of county vehicle. I mean, I don't have a problem assigning a county vehicle when you're here from this point, but getting a vehicle for meeting attendance from here to wherever. But
Is there a policy in place that allows say Tuesday, Wednesday, she has a meeting in Fergus Falls? Is there a policy in place that would allow her to take a vehicle home that night, tonight, take it home so that she can use the county vehicle to go to her meeting in Fergus Falls in the morning and then come back?
I believe there is some, and I think Human Services does that once in a while, where when they're traveling and they're closer to their home instead of coming back and then going home. I think there's some of those, but you can also, just straight mileage would be, if you're traveling with your own car, you can figure out the mileage from,
But that's if there's if there's a county vehicle available and if there isn't a county vehicle. There's two different.
Right, but in the scenario where you're going straight to the meeting from home, it would be a different, that would fall into a little special category where the policy could be looked
Yeah, I
at
don't know that our
and clarified.
policy clarifies that. So that would be something. I'm not, I don't feel strongly about this one way or the other. I think I could go either way. I echo your concerns, but I also echo Richard that I do think she's doing a good job, but
she's doing everybody else's job, and she's doing a good job doing everybody else's job. So for me, she's corrected some things around here that she shouldn't have had to. They should have been done by our department heads, and she continues to do everybody else's job. And so, and she's made a lot of good changes here. So, and I like taking care of people who take care of us. That's how I see, but again, I see the county like a business. I don't see it as government. Government, I don't like the way people run government. So that's how I see it. Can I have that? Thank you.
I guess I would say not reflective of Carrie's work. I think she does an excellent job, but we just asked our taxpayers to come up with $2.5 million more dollars in our levy. I don't think I can support this either.
I'm thinking.
I didn't see a cost estimate either, but I just ran in my, what a mileage would be. And our mileage went up to 72.5. If you take 20,000, I mean, cost of a new vehicle, the cost of vehicles is expensive. I think we all know that. So say 20,000 miles times 0.725, it's a $14,500. I estimate it would be $15,000 a year for us to do this, just to have a car and to maintain it, insurance. So you're talking, that's what it would cost us in my rough estimate, 20,000 miles. Because 70 cents a mile for a new vehicle for like my pickup doesn't pay for it. Doesn't pay for my expenses on, now for my Prius, I make money, but when you don't make money if you're talking a new vehicle. So that's 70 cents. So that's all I'm going to say. I will, if you're done discussing, I'll make a motion.
Anybody else have anything?
Madam Chair, I'll make a motion to approve the Becker County employment engagement with our administrator, Carrie Smith, excluding the automotive section. 14.1, 14.2, 14.3, 14.4, 14.6, 14.7, 14.8, and updating the salary where she would be on her steps and pay rate.
Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Any further discussion?
So when we originally talked about this, I was thinking how it would be better, like, to go to a meeting from a place that's closer. But now I see your side of it too, so I didn't think about that as much. It would be nice if we could at least look at our policy for, like, let's say we have a AMC meeting in there's a meeting in Fergus Falls. It is closer for her to go from her home to that meeting. I think that would be a fair compromise to what we're doing now. You know what I mean? I mean, we can look at that after we vote.
To look at
Look at that policy.
Yeah.
I would like her, I don't want her wasting her time driving
No.
way down here.
And then
If
to
she
there.
could take the car home the night before,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
I would, I mean, that's better than giving her nothing, but I hate, it's one thing right now, this time of year, when you start driving long distances, and unfortunately, we have people driving semis that shouldn't be driving semis, and it's icy, and I don't want her driving any more than she has to. It's stressful, especially with driving in the dark. I don't like it. I'm getting to where I don't even want to drive in the dark anymore. So if we could cut her driving time down by sending her home with a car the night before, that's better than nothing. And I'd like to take some stress off of her if we could, because she gets a lot of, like I said, she does a lot of things she shouldn't have to be doing, and I hope that changes too. So I would like to look at that policy and see if we can do something there then.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Any further discussion?
Were you guys considering amending this then, or are we going to vote?
No,
No.
we'll vote on this. No.
No, I don't think so. All right, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? All right, motion carries. All right, on to county administrator report.
if we get a report now after we didn't. Sorry,
She's already been.
sorry, Carrie.
No, don't make me laugh. It hurts too much.
Here's a report, you jerks.
I'll still give you the reports.
The things I appreciate about Carrie, always very professional.
So internally, we've been working on our judicial security, which I have referenced before. We've met a few times internally, and really, just as a refresher, what this is if there's a request by judges specifically to hide any data with reference to home locations and such. So we were working internally with departments to get information off public records. And so that's taken a bit. And we also wanted to make sure that we, had internal communication because there's pieces that different departments do. So that is, I would say, at the tail end of almost ready to go here.
And is that regards to wasn't there a statute
There
that
is.
allowed it, a fairly
Correct.
new one?
Yes, it went into effect January? Yeah, January 1.
Of this year?
Correct.
Oh, so really new. Okay.
Yes, so very new. So in January 28th, I had sent out a meeting invite where we were invited to the city for a joint legislative session. That's from 1 to 3. It's just a reminder. And then we also have a upcoming again work session February 4th. So just a couple of reminders, and you should have those on your calendar invites. On January 9th, I'm going to go out to the CHIPS contracts first. In your packet, you have 3 CHIPS contracts. These are required for us for contracts for attorneys to provide services in the court system for children in need of protection. And so we have 2 returning attorneys and then a third that I was able to secure. Mr. Dodds had asked to be done with his contract at the end of December. So we have a third Mr. Winters that is going to be replacing him. So we do have the 3, and those are for consideration for those contracts.
Is the only difference in these contracts from previous is the dollar amount? Is that the only difference? Okay.
Correct.
'Cause I thought that. Okay.
Correct.
And I think there was a 3.5% increase.
Yep, that's what I included. Those will go forward in for signature. I believe the signature that's required, I think, is board chair.
Yep.
Yeah, and I think you maybe signed maybe one or 2 of them already.
Yep.
I did meet with the township, and I will get on the next subject of the 245th Avenue, which is the landfill road. I did meet with the township officials, which are here, on Friday, January 9th, and just went over just more of a sharing, more informal, I would say, and sharing of information to make sure that we all had the same information of intent and purpose. In addition, our Chair Veerberg and who else sat in on?
I was in
It was you, Phil. Yes, we sat in, and Steve. We sat in with a Zoom, or rather a Teams meeting with the MPCA, and what we realized is that it's government, obviously, and so the individuals that we met with at that point were for the closed landfill, and then we were trying to get on the books an additional meeting for our operations, our current operations from the MPCA. I actually, just before this meeting, just received a message from the individual that we had reached out to, and I had asked for an additional meeting this week so that we could do an online meeting with them. Really, the questions we're trying to get answered is specific to the question of the day, and the township is awaiting as well. If, what can be done. This folder here is all the permits and all the information that I have went through We did enter into a contract back when we closed the landfill specifically, and then the MPCA holds the permit for our current operations as well. So just asking questions to make sure that we have our answers to our questions about fencing, where that can be placed, what type of fencing, et cetera, if the road were to become open again, which is what the township has indicated. That is their wishes. So again, I'm hoping to have a meeting yet this week. That's what I've asked.
Madam Chair, Carrie, at our closed landfill meeting, you said you were going to go through, is it 3 different agreements we have with the MPCA? Did you get a chance to do that? Anything come
Right
of
here.
that?
I did that over the weekend.
Did we find anything?
It's a lot of, yes, there's a lot of restrictions. There's a lot of old road orders. As far as, it doesn't really address, the gating and those types of things that were done after the fact. So I think those are really the questions of where we are. What we did with regards to the permits versus where we are today. Those are really where it stopped and where we want to pick it up again. Those are the questions that I think we need to have answered by the MPCA. Does that answer your question?
A little bit.
A little bit, okay.
I just wonder if we can, because I know that the township guys are here, and Mike, just wondering if you guys have any questions or.
Well, Madam Chair, for me, it's sounding like, from what I'm hearing, that you guys are taking the stance as what the township has requested in opening it. And so I just need something so I can formally hang my hat on to go, to the title company and to work through that part of it to, take care of our end of our legal end of stuff on the private issue. So that's what I would be here for. I don't know if the township has a different request.
I don't know. I think we're all in agreement that we need to open this road. We've talked about it, and of course, we have to be careful how we do it, but I think that, am I wrong? But I think we're all in agreement that the road needs to be opened.
Madam Chair, I think that's accurate. I think we want to make sure the township is going to accept that, accept the responsibilities of that road also. And I think they've indicated they are, but I think we have to have that road agreement that this is a township road, and what both sides just have to sit down and say, yes, this is our road. We'll do this, we'll do this, we'll do this. Becker County, if we have to, if the MPCA says we have to fence it on both sides, then we do it.
Yeah.
That's what it will be.
I think
Yep.
the only thing that we have to be real about is, just because this is what I'm not sure, is what happens if the MPC comes back and says, you can't fence it. You need to keep it gated off.
Well,
That's where we then have to figure out what would be our next step.
I don't think they can say that.
I don't know.
It's a township road at that point.
I see that as a concern of mine also, but on what, then you start thinking, on what grounds can they say this established road can't be there to access property?
So I
So,
talked to the MPCA myself. And the west side of the road has to be fenced, the closed landfill has to be fenced. The east side has to have controlled access. That information was also told to Mr. Skoog last November. So you had that information.
so anyway, I think we just are moving forward, and you have board consensus that we want to keep it open, and we want to work an agreement with the township saying it's a township road, and then accept the responsibilities. Who accept what's responsibilities for that?
Madam Chair,
Maintenance and upgrading, and let's just get together and decide it.
And so hopefully, Mike, once she finds out what we have to do, if we can give Mike something, I don't know what that would look like, so they could take it to the title company, take it to as an attorney, and say, this is the future of this road. That's really what they want to do, is get moving on the sale and handover of this property. Some family members are
I
selling.
guess, what is the
some are-
title company request? If we recognize it as a township road, you have legal access to your property, so I don't know what they're asking.
So in a sense, when the title company did the work, they found that the township never recorded this known road, which is common, what I come to find out in the history of dealing through this, that townships are notorious for not recording roads because they don't like to pay the county the recording fee. And that's years and years ago. I mean, that's the way life has worked and so forth. So then this wasn't recorded, but yet it's been there and it's a public road by use and by the history of it. I started then to try to come through the process of how do we get this recorded properly. And so last township meeting, I made a request to the township that they formally record the road so it's recorded properly. And I assume that actually probably would handle my business more than the county board side. But in turn, obviously, it affects the county board by the impact of the gating system. So that's where we're at today.
And I think I asked that at the last time for the township to, whatever we need to do to make that a township, to document it. That's what, I mean, because I was like, how does it not, maybe Jim can chime in, how is that not legal access if it's a township road to you? And we just need to coordinate that and get it figured out.
Madam Chair, Barry, you had said consensus. I mean, I want to give access to the people with the property. But with that is a road right now, right through our campus. That presents an issue to me. My goal is to still gain access, but not necessarily that road. Could we do it a different way and gain access?
I think I've looked at it overhead and I don't know that there are any options.
No,
Even if we build a road around,
then you're talking money. A
well,
lot of money. And rather than,
that's why we wanted to know what
Well, I think
the
either way, we're talking a lot of money.
landfill,
well, no, a road and a fence are nowhere close. And we looked at trying, there's no room for a road. So one way, there's
Okay.
a huge swamp. That would be not, probably not allowed to go through there.
I got, so a little more input. So there was an estimate given to the county last fall, November timeframe, from Dakota Fence for that fence, for 1,300 feet of fence, 6 foot high, chain link, barbed wire on top for the west side of the road, 3 gates, and that one gate is control access for that east side. That estimate was given to the county last fall at $45,780. You have that information as well.
That's not the
We had the-
estimate that we got,
We had the
that I'm
full,
aware
I
of.
think we had the full estimate from both sides. It was
114, I believe,
114.
but
Yeah.
1,000.
But a road is unbelievably expensive, and the other side of it, there's no room for it there. It runs right, the demo landfill goes right almost to the property line. It would be wildly expensive to put in a road. Jim, what's a road compared to a fence? Quite a bit of difference.
I mean, I
Yeah, so-
agree. There
and
is a large
it's
difference.
And it's a township road, and that's what it needs. That's what it needs to be for this property to retain its value. So we really just need to figure out how to secure our landfill and work through this.
so just, Madam Chair, Mr. Varberg, so, okay, the road is open. We got a lot of pickups with trailers coming up there. They know exactly where they're going. They know the landfill's off 144. They drive down that road. How are they going to get turned around if we got both sides fenced? I mean, this is just a simple,
We
practical
Make a little
thing.
loop. It's not a big deal. You could take and
Building roads?
you just make a little loop there. It's not that, we have equipment. Yeah, we could put one, and we could even put one
there's
closer.
there's an intersection there that,
And you could sign it. There's gonna be people who are confused, no matter how you look at it. And
there's
that's
not a
something
lot of
that,
access on that road.
Commissioner Hanson,
Yes,
that road was open for 20 years every Wednesday for 8 hours a day for the hazardous waste office. And they didn't have problems with it then. So I understand and I appreciate you thinking ahead, but that road was used every day on Wednesday for 20 plus years.
yeah, it was.
I don't,
the other thing,
is the road condition. I mean, I think the current road it may be like only a 33-foot easement through there also, so.
It is.
I don't know.
And that would remain.
That would be, you have access, but it's a 33-foot cartway easement or property through there. So that's that could be a hardship if you have expansion of that back there. That would be a hardship for developing in the back, my opinion. A 33-foot cartway is not, it's gonna,
You can't have a development off that. Is that what you're saying?
no, I'm just saying I think you can have a development back there on a 33-foot township road, but it's not gonna be a standard of a major development. I mean, it is gonna be what it is, but I just wanted to put out there that I think it's a
There's a
33-foot.
lot of township roads.
Right.
like that.
I'm just saying it, just be aware that it's a 33-foot.
Madam Chair, to answer your question, yeah, that gate was open, but it was only open for certain hours of the day, correct? On Wednesdays?
Correct, but in turn, they didn't have confusion of people going the wrong way to the.
No.
Granted,
Right.
granted.
If
The
it's
other thing
signed
is,
as a road, and who would go in there when they know the landfill? I mean, there could be some confusion, but I.
Madam Chair, the other issue for me is 2 different gates to cross that to get to our C&D landfill. So someone comes in with a trailer, so are we gonna have to man that gate to open and close it? Because it'll have to be closed. You don't want people coming in and out with that gate. I mean, it creates some issues for us, which aren't your issues, but it does create some issues for us.
There's no reason that gate can't be open all day though, Phil. I mean, if you.
Well,
if
open
you
all day.
This one, open that one, have a nice, not a swing gate, a nice rolling gate. You don't even need an opener. You could put an operator on it if, when an operator, I say a motor, and you could, but if you wanted to save some money, they roll really nice.
But Richard, what's going to keep people from coming in that road and just dumping without ever going to the transfer station?
There's possibility of that, but that's not the worst thing. I would hope people wouldn't do that.
Well, you'd have signage and
But you could have signage.
If it did become a problem, you would have.
And that's not,
cameras
I
out
can't
there.
see that being a big problem.
I mean, no, I don't, I think I think it could happen, no question about it.
But so
I think
what if it does? I mean,
well,
we want to deter it if we can.
people certainly aren't going to try to cheat $20 of garbage and have a criminal record because of it. I mean, it's, if they're going to dump it, they'll dump it in the ditch if they're going to do that. I think that's a workable problem that we can find solutions.
It is. I don't see that as being a big problem.
I mean, it isn't something to concern, but we would open those gates and maybe if it does become a problem, then if you're going to you have to drive all the way around back to it. I don't know.
So,
Still can't get in. What do you mean drive all the way around back
Well, you
out to
can have the-
144? There's still no access to the C&D landfill without going through a gate.
Correct. They'd be open.
I mean, we say it's no problem to us here, but I mean, we've got employees up there working up there that are, someone's either going to have to open the gate each time, go with the person who's dumping. I mean,
No, we're not going to do,
But
Bill, if
Richard-
somebody illegally dumps in there, you're talking a huge expense. You're talking an extra person to do that. And I think some signage, maybe even a camera or even a fake camera, whatever.
we don't want a fake camera, especially after you just said it in a public meeting.
They won't know.
Nobody watches our meetings.
Warehouse Foods had a fake camera for years and it worked. And I didn't know it was fake until it ended up at Roadwall's junkyard. And then it was, and I'm like, really? That's what it was? So, yeah. But yeah, I just don't see that. It could be a small problem, but certainly we'll just open the gates in the morning and close them at night. And that's what should have been done in the first place. We were really trying to fix what was done wrong, and that's what should have been done in the first place. When you start talking building roads and doing things like that, and we've looked at that.
I asked that, we've had a lot of conversation here, but not a lot of it actually is directly in reference to the township road issue. And that's what I'm asking, is that the county basically, from what I'm hearing here, is saying, yes, we're all in agreement that the road's gonna be reopened. The rest of it is behind the scenes environmental type work group that I think has to be worked through. So I'm as a landowner asking that you guys acknowledge the fact that this is where we're headed as a group between the township and the county board here, that we're all in agreement that the township road will be reopened. And so I can start moving forward on my private stuff.
I mean, I'm in agreement with it. I'm hesitant to say, let's do it until we hear everything from MPCA that it's possible. And I know, Charlie, you said you've talked to him, but I don't have any of that from the MPCA. So I would want to, I'm in agreement with it if the MPCA says
And I
what
also,
we need to do.
I feel that respectfully, you and the MPCA is between you and them, the road right away and the public road is not in your guys' control. It's the township's road. It's time to get your date off of it. And it's to be recorded. If they say, no, it's not in the contract, then you two are gonna have to figure out that contract issue and the fencing issue, but not the township road, if that makes sense. And that's where we keep coming back.
Yeah,
to
that's-
circle.
Well, Madam Chair, I somewhat disagree with you. We could fight the township if we wanted to, but we're not going to because we would still have to have that property open. We still have to have access to that. I mean, that property has been using that road forever, and I think in court you would win that that's established. So but I'm not going to argue with town. I'd rather have the township maintain that road than the county. So
I would think that there'd be better money spent on a fence than a court battle.
I agree.
Which is
but
what
I'm-
we're agreeing.
But I'm just
Which
saying.
is what we're agreeing
I'm
to.
saying, why don't you guys take it back to the environmental group and MPCA and work out your side of it, but acknowledge the fact that the township road is there and gonna be open, and so I can get moving forward on my part.
Just one input, in talking to our legal people, unless you can provide some proof that it has been vacated, that is still a township road. It's a minimum maintenance township road. That's a non-issue.
I
I
agree.
mean, we are, as a township, we are very willing, if we have to litigate that. And with not 100% certainty, but probably 95% certainty, you will not win that. That
Well-
was illegally gated back in 1993 with no recording in any department in the township or the county that should have been gated, that you had permission to do it.
By the township.
I think what we're arguing here is and you get in a court of law, there's no winners, first of all.
Absolutely.
There's no winners, and there's no guarantee from the township or the county who's going to win that battle. And we don't want to go there. But I'm just saying there are always questions and nothing's 100%. I am willing to say that I will happy to allow that to be a township road. And I think,
But you see,
and working with,
That's not a county decision.
No.
it is a county, Madam Chair, point of order. It is a county decision whether we want to fight you or not on it.
Absolutely.
And I do not want to fight you on that.
Great, we appreciate
So-
that a lot.
Madam Chair, could you answer one question? Why did you stop collecting gas tax with your road certification in 1992 or 93? Why?
Collect gas tax on a minimum maintenance road.
Yes, you do. We do. In Lakeview Township, we always did.
You're not supposed
If it's open 8 months out of the year,
The county, I just talked to her last week about that. She said, you're not supposed to unless you're actively doing maintenance, conducting maintenance. Road maintenance like you do your other roads.
Yeah, minimum maintenance road is not subject to gas tax reimbursement. That's what we've been told I've been on the board for 18 years, and that's what we've been told every year. So that's the reason we did not.
So Carrie, you're hoping to have a meeting set up with MPCA this week?
that is what I have asked for.
So when, after that meeting, could you send out a report to us? My hope is that we can make a decision at our next board meeting. We will have this on the agenda. Mr. Olson, I did not say we would have a decision. I said we would discuss it at the next board meeting. I'm not trying to kick the can down the road. I'm just trying to think of what is in the best interest of the county to make sure we're doing it right. I agree with Commissioner Nelson. We don't want to have a lawsuit fight. I just want to make sure we have all of our ducks in order before we give you an answer.
Madam Chair, and with this, I think it's in the best interest of all that we have something in writing from the MPCA.
Correct.
Because everything in the contract that I have went through indicates that you need permission to alter anything.
Mm-hmm.
So we want to make sure that we have that.
And again, here's another case where we could fight MPCA and what does alter mean? To put, we could say we're putting a fence up the gate to make sure we have, I mean, we could say that that's not altering anything because we're just securing it. We're not altering the use of the landfill at all. So it's all, everything's wordage. But I think our guidance to Carrie, or in my opinion, is let's move forward with however we can, if we have to fence that whole thing, then we have to fence it. But we move forward acknowledging that the township is going to work with the township with a township road agreement and ask MPCA, what do we need to do to secure this if this gate's removed? Because we want to, that's the question. How do we secure this when the gates are removed at the road entrance? So we comply with MPCA.
And that's exactly the question that I posed to them.
We just want to comply with how they're going to do it, and we will do it, and accept that it's a township road, and acknowledge that, and whatever documentation you guys need to do, and we will certainly recognize that. For me, I don't have any problem with it. But
I believe it's a township road. We don't have any say about it. That's what I believe. But at the same time, I don't want the gate to come down and cause a bunch of trouble. So I don't, and we did talk to 3 people from the Pollution Control Agency who seemed to be very helpful and open to taking that gate down and expedite it. So, I believe we don't have no say, but at the same time, it will just be a few days. Then you can take the gate down if we can't help you, and then see what happens. I don't know. But
So, Madam Chair, in closing on this item, again, I just want to say that I just want this to stay on our radar, to keep moving it forward, and that is what I've told the township, and that's what I've told the board.
And I will apologize to you guys that we didn't start this back in June. That we should have brought this back to the board once we got the fencing estimate. So yes, I do acknowledge that we have dropped the ball on this. But now moving forward, we just want to make sure that we're doing it the right way. So, okay. Anything else?
Thank you again for your time.
Yeah,
Thank you guys for coming. All right, we will move on to the AED policy.
Madam Chair, in your packet, you would have had a copy of an AED policy. This has been in the works for a period of time. Several additional this was a recommendation from the Safety Committee that we purchase AED machines so that they're accessible within our county buildings. I had, I believe it was last week, with the department heads, a meeting, and we were just ensuring that we had the right locations. The last location before I left on vacation that we were going to ensure had one of these was up by or close to the jury room, up on that end of the courtroom. So I would ask for a motion to approve this. This also indicates that those that are interested in training for CPR as well as the AED training potentially could get that training through our county because we have trained a trainer within the county. But I would also like permission if the locations, if we find that we have a location that we either missed or need to modify the location, that we have the ability to do that. I just want it to reflect properly the locations.
Madam Chair, Carrie, I mean, one you had on here, the locations, the HHW building. I mean, there's nobody there except there's nobody there all the time. I thought that was one that was unnecessary or could be better used in another place more frequented by people. That was just my thought.
Okay.
the other thing is we're looking at maybe pairing Narcan with these eventually.
And we were getting some additional information on that.
And
on
just
whether or not.
remember that these have to be checked on a regular basis and
With this, what that will look like is monthly when maintenance goes around. They'll be responsible for checking these monthly AED machines.
and it's, it's also not only checking them, but it's got to be documented that you check them. I mean, we have to have
A
that
checklist.
documentation.
Yes, the documentation that they've been
So
checked and they're functional.
Because if we don't do it, if we don't have a document, then we're liable on a, I mean, in my opinion, just like lawsuits, you're gonna be sued for anything, anytime, by anyone. And if you don't have it, you provide something and then don't have it, if it's not documented that it was properly maintained and it isn't, then you're liable.
Should we be checking them on a real human being?
Gotta have a heart, though.
We could
Okay,
they-
so,
do that with the tasers at the sheriff.
we- Carrie, you would like a motion to accept the AED policy?
No, I'll make a motion to accept the AED policy with the possibility of adjusting locations.
Thank you.
Okay, we have a
I'll
motion.
second. Very second.
We have a second. Any further discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Is this where we added that safety?
Oh, yes,
Um,
safety update.
You know what, and I probably caught you off guard at this. When I was reading the AED, I thought it'd be a good time to do, we saw a lot of violations this summer, maybe do an update, but I would reserve that if you don't want, if we're not prepared now, we could do it at the next meeting.
I can, whichever, I can give a general and maybe
Well, I
more
was-
depth if I'm more prepared, but Steve is also here and a lot of that falls within his
Okay.
buildings too.
That would be fine too.
So we had the walkthrough with Safe Assure, which we utilize for them. It's like a mock OSHA walkthrough of all of our buildings, just to give suggestions, updates of potential safety concerns that we have throughout our buildings. We get a listing of all of that, and then from that point, just process-wise, Brent Brislin from maintenance was very involved in all of that, as well as specific department heads within buildings. I would say the majority of it has been rectified. There's probably still some ongoing, specifically out probably in Steve's area. I don't know if you have any other specific.
Madam Chair, Steve, do you want to speak to that? We had a lot of safety violations out there. A lot of them were just mops in front of, fire.
Yeah, some of it was practice, some of it we had to make some changes, get some, put in that type of thing, update some signage. That stuff's been taken care of. For the most part, I'd say the vast majority of it's been taken care of.
Good.
And then there are some areas too where, like at our MRF, there's some different models that apply. I think there's some difference in interpretation, operational, how you run things. You look at them versus other.
Probably one example is, I know we talked about this in safety, when you have an area where you can't have eye wash stations blocked or AEDs covered and those kinds of things, well, you can clear all of that, but then down the road, people tend to put things back there again. So one of the things I think, which was, I think, a win, was they secured with tape, nothing within this area, so that it was a reminder for staff that that area needs to be cleared, but also to be kept clear. So we did do some modifications, and just for record keeping, those were either assigned to specific staff members within certain departments, and then it was rechecked and checked off again, and all of those records were kept by Brent. So. Because again, what I didn't want is us to get a safety report and it goes on a shelf and then nobody's really looking at it, because there's a lot of information that I think could be helpful to us to ensure that, we are addressing all safety aspects of that. So.
Do you want a more in-depth
Nope.
update
I
next?
specifically wanted environmental because
Okay.
it seemed like there was a lot of easy stuff that could be taken care of, and I've
Okay,
been placated with the information. It's fine.
Then, Madam Chair, Cody is here too, because I know that the contract was pulled. If you
Yep.
had specific questions for.
yep. Cody, you want to come up and,
Yeah, I missed the earlier part of the meeting, so I wasn't sure what
Just-
questions were on there, but
Madam Chair, Cody, I had just wondered, the EDA, the MMCDC contract, I saw what was changed there with some wording, but I didn't see anything about the dollar amount. Was that negotiated better out, or?
there's no change to the term or the dollar amount of the contract. It was essentially
From
a
last
lot
year.
of, there's some spelling, mistakes in there. Consistency with some terms between, contract and agreement were used interchangeably. So just making it consistent throughout the contract on language, a couple definitions added in there defining, specifically kind of what something meant, like administrative
Yeah.
and things like that. So really it was just a lot of wordsmithing, to.
But the cost, that was not, did we talk about this before, that we were going to
Now,
look
the
into
cost
that?
didn't
There's
change.
Nope, the cost didn't change from what we approved the end of the year. We had initially approved it. So it was just some minor language.
Madam
change.
Chair, this contract has already been approved.
Mhm.
They just had
For
a
the dollar
couple,
amount.
they just had a couple language clarifications, I think is probably the best way to do it. So, but yes, we are, still reviewing this for the future,
Correct.
but this is the next year. So make a motion to approve.
All right, we have a motion to approve. Do we have a second?
I'll second.
All right, any further discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Opposed? Motion carries. Thanks, Cody.
Thanks, Cody.
All right, Jim. We have our amendment to blading and plow contract.
Good morning, Commissioners. Yeah, the item for your consideration, little background, we have a contractor that maintains two areas, maintenance areas for our gravel road, doing the summertime blading and wintertime plowing. He is going out of business, or that business is closing. And we reached out to the adjacent contractors to see if they would provide us quotes to take those, or if there was interest for them to take those areas over and then provide us their quote. So they did provide our quotes, so we're recommending that we amend the contract through the rest of its term, which is this year and next year. And then we can go out for our bid, which is 3 years long. But pricing on that, in one area it did go up based on the bids that was provided. The increase in one area is estimated based on hours that we think might happen in a year, so it'll go up approximately about $11,800. The other one is essentially unchanged, had similar quotes there. And I provided a map. The areas that are being amended are the ones south of Trunk Highway 34, the roads in yellow and the roads in aqua. Thielen Excavating, just north of 34 there, the ones kind of the mustard color, will be taking over the area in aqua. And then Gusner Construction will be taking over the yellow areas. He's right north of that area as well. Madam Chair, I'll move to approve Resolution 2D.
All right, we have a motion to approve Resolution 2D. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
All right, any further discussion?
I'm a little hesitant to, I think Jim's probably done the homework, but when you add areas, like, it's a little bit torn whether they should go out for bid again, but we're in a time crunch, so go out for competitive bids, especially when you have an increase like that in the one area. So I would ask the highway committee that they vetted this pretty well, I would assume.
Madam Chair, Commissioner Nelson, we did talk about that a little bit, and there's not a lot of people in the area that can do the work. So
It's hard to find people to blade roads. There's not a huge amount of,
Many of
you
the guys that
don't
they're
make a
doing it.
lot of money in a road grader. That's the way it is, and there's not a lot of people doing it. And it's actually hard to find people to bid on some of them, so.
Jim, when are these contracts up again?
April 30th, 28.
28, so we'll be
Two
in
seasons.
the spring of 28.
I just looking for the committee to reassure me that this is our best and probably maybe only option at this time in this. And Jim,
I would refer you to Jim. I think if we follow, it's easier to go through, like I say, if we're going to go out and rebid this, it's a timeline. We would probably be maintaining it maybe for a month. And I don't know who would bid at this point, but I think if we go through the term of the contract, then we can do maybe a little bit more robust advertising when we start it again and seek out, other graders to do that.
So Jim, when they gave you the bid, that bid was for the,
Duration of the contract,
them understanding that they would have it for the duration of the contract, not just
one season.
one
Yeah.
season. So I think that's, another thing we may be in a pickle if we go back to them and say, how about if you just do it the rest of this season? And then we're going to have you bid it again. Would you agree or?
True, or if we only did it for one season and then went out for quotes, they would have thought, well, we might be kind of bound, that we might have got higher pricing yet, as opposed to giving it a longer term. But, I could look through the contracts. Maybe we have language we could terminate all contracts maybe early if it allows for it, if you wanted to bid a year earlier, but I guess ideally, we thought
Do
this
you think
was,
it's a fair price, the 170 an hour compared to what, 140, went up from 145, was it?
I don't think it's unheard of, I guess.
I don't think it's out of line. We're losing people to blade roads.
Yeah.
And we've tried it to get the township, Detroit Township tried to get me to get a grader. I'm like, no, there's no money in that. It's just, there's not a lot of money in it. A road grader is very expensive piece of equipment. I would not want to try.
And it's a thankless job.
It's a thankless job. I would not want to try
You
to
never
make
did good.
money at
Yes, anybody that
$170
lives on
bucks
that
an
road.
hour with that machine. And we are losing them. And we've tried to get people to come up here and they won't even give us a price over in Detroit Township. And I don't think it's out of line, and I have a lot of equipment and I run equipment, and I think they're looking at the future because it's getting more and more expensive every year to maintain this construction equipment and purchase it.
But I do see what you're saying, Barry, in that the other contractor was in line where this one was, quite a bit higher for both the blade and the plow.
Is that their same dollar amount on the contract they currently hold?
Gosh, I don't have those numbers. I think it is probably a little bit of an increase over their amount. I can get you those numbers if you'd like, but
We can, if you're not comfortable, Barry, I understand where you're coming from.
I just look for,
I do think it would be nice to know, though, Barry, now that you bring that up, what is his contract on his other ones? Because I think that, the Thielens, that one is right in line, but the other one does.
well,
So we have a motion and a second?
Barry, did you want to amend?
I'm just looking at the highway committee and say, if you do your due diligence and this is our best option, I'm fine. I'm just asking the questions and hope you, so I'm fine with you giving authorization for it to be approved after highway department consideration, if you want to amend it like that.
I was just talking to actually a commissioner from Monoman County, Dave Gear. I finally gave up grading roads. You probably know that, Jim. He couldn't make any money at it, and help is hard to find, and it's getting harder. And that is to do it now. Anybody can run a road grader and grade a road if you don't want it done right. And because for years I watched him go by my house and that thing wasn't even working, and I'm like, let me in there for just a minute, I'll show you something. But he wasn't cutting anything. And then we got another guy, and he come by, and that thing's smoking, and he's burning fuel, and there's a big difference in who does it, and then how long does it last if you cut it right and do it right. And there's a talent that goes into it, and And so it is, it's just, I'm not saying that we couldn't find a cheaper price somewhere, but we're losing talented people and that do this. They're not interested in doing it anymore.
Madam Chair, Commissioner Nelson, this did not come through committee. It came to finance. It seemed like an urgent thing that we had to, or maybe it wasn't urgent, but it's something we worked on in finance.
Well, yeah, the termination is at the end of the month, so we need some for
So it's timely.
February.
Yeah.
If you wanted to hold off, I mean, we would probably just have to maintain those roads through February if you want us to. Oh, okay.
So it is the same as what his current bid. So.
Yep.
We approved it there. So he didn't, yeah, he was at 170 and 205, and I think that's what that says, right?
Yep, he just,
Pull the same price over.
Mm-hmm.
yeah.
Yeah. So I think that changes it a little bit, that
Yep.
we know that's what
He
he's
didn't
charging
increase
on
it,
the
yeah,
other
just
roads, so.
Maintain them, same quotes.
Mhm.
You know, I don't have any problem moving forward and improving this. I would also state, though, that as we move forward, you know, Jim, if you go back and find that we should just do 1 year, I think that we should have that. I mean, Jim can also come back and say, we're just going to do I mean, if you find better solutions or have that conversation. So it can be changed. Doesn't mean we authorize this, but if you find better solutions, you can bring them back and
Sure.
and change it.
Oh,
So
definitely.
If you guys know what if you guys say, hey, we found this, let's do it this way and come back to the next meeting for revision.
Okay.
But we do
Motion.
need to keep moving forward and.
Not after we sign a contract, we can't do that.
Not after he signs, but if in the next few days that
Oh.
you guys find
Yeah,
you do some homework or research and sign, oh, wait, this is, with these questions being asked,
All right. Motion second. Any further discussion? All right. All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Madam Chair, Jim, before you leave.
He's got another thing on the agenda.
Okay.
I think you pulled the memorandum of understanding? Okay. Little background on that. You remember from our 5-year plan, we added that little chunk of 37 because we heard that Clearwater was going to do their work on 39 going north there. They provided us with an MOU, which kind of spells out the responsibilities. Essentially, we're just paying the bill at the end of the contract. We will review the plans, sign the plans. They will hold the contract, bid it out, and we'll get to review those bids. So this MOU then essentially says, what those responsibilities are, and we're responsible only for our section of 35 for paying that. And that will be paid with state aid funds. We estimate that work at this point around $80,000.
I understand and everything you're saying, and I agree, but I don't think it specifically says in the MOU that we are only responsible for our road. Number 8 says project cost for Becker County, CASA 37 will be paid by Becker County. That's all it says. It doesn't say that they're not going to do that, but we could be responsible for whatever they decide we are responsible for. And I know they're not going to do that. I understand that, but you know what I mean?
So do you think it should be worded, Becker Counny will only
be
responsible for project costs for Becker?
Yeah.
Oh,
Does that make sense?
okay.
I mean, it's a wordsmith thing, but obviously I know Clearwater County's not going to do that. Why would they do that? But
Yeah, and I don't know, item 7 above it, it says will be invoiced for our share of engineering expenses and construction costs.
yeah, but it doesn't say what our share is. You know what I mean? I read that too.
I imagine you'll go on mile percentage.
Yeah.
Well, it's easy to figure out actual quantities too, so, but yeah, I mean, we could look at the full length. It depends upon, they might have wider shoulders or whatever, but they measure the tonnage that goes down on the road. This is a mill and overlay, and that's essentially what we have to do. And then the engineering costs typically then are based off of prorating what our construction cost share is versus their construction, maybe it's 4%, and then we'll be charged for engineering at 4%.
So do we agree we should change the wording to Becker County will only pay for project costs or are we okay with how it's currently worded?
The only thing I'm a little worried about, I think they are probably simultaneously right now have this at their board meeting today.
Oh,
as well.
sure.
So I don't,
Need to get it out for bids.
I mean, it's not, it's not that big a deal, I guess, but it just stuck out to me that, oh,
Well, item 8, project cost for Becker County State Aid Highway 37 will be paid for by Becker County. I think that's pretty clear.
yeah, but I agree with you. It is clear that we'll pay for that, but it doesn't say that might not pay for something else.
But it doesn't say we will.
It doesn't say we will. I know, you're right. It doesn't. It doesn't say either thing. So we're good.
One thing I found on the agreement and the resolution is it has we would usually say the engineer and the administrator, but they have engineer and
Yes.
board chair.
Yes.
Which
yeah.
I think, because I don't think they have, do they have an administrator in Clearwater?
Don't they have a coordinator?
But I mean, their roles are,
No?
I mean, so
Probably.
I would suggest that our administrator would be the second signee instead of board chair because for future things. But in the need for moving forward, I think we can, you just wonder sometimes if the board chair has to sign a document and Erica's at home or at work, it's like, it would be best that it would read the administrator for future, in my opinion. But
I'll make a motion to approve 2C.
All right, we have a motion. Do we have a second?
second.
Any further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Thanks, Jim.
All right, thank you.
Jim, one other thing, just the signage, making of signs, does our county still make our signs or do?
The only signs we make are the 911 address signs now. So
That's it?
otherwise,
Blue address?
the
So-
regulatory road signs we either get them from M&R in Fergus Falls, and there's another company in Fargo as well. But
So did we used to do that? Did the county used to do that?
quite a while ago, they probably did. but
Okay, so the sign shop up there is only to store the signs for use, which you purchased from M&R.
Correct. yeah.
Oh,
Yep.
I thought you were making those signs.
I thought we made more. I knew we purchased, but I thought we made more.
I mean, we've done a few custom signs, but we've gotten out of that business because, I mean, we can take the old blanks, recycle them, send them back, and they can resheet them, and it's so much quicker and easier for them to do it.
Okay.
Less inventory for us to hold.
All right, thank you.
All right, since Kyle's not here yet, do we want to take a 5-minute break?
Yep.
All right.
There was,
Oh,
Madam Chair, there was something that I just read in the paper that I can't remember what it was, but it was going to save us. It was a really good thing. The legislation just changed. Did everyone else read that? Legislation just changed. It was a requirement now that, God, I'm trying to review what that was, but it was a really good thing for us. I remember reading it. It was just last night.
well, I don't know if I read it because I'm not sure what you're talking about.
I know, I'm doing research, but there's good news for
All right,
us.
let's take a 5-minute break.
I got an idea. You should look at the break.
Oh.
and tell me.
We'll return
Can you guys hear me?
Yep.
Yeah, the,
Kyle, we just gotta
some
wait
of
for
them were
Carrie
and
to
some
come
of them
back.
weren't. So, total revenue was this. This was the gross, there was 2 sales in here. What, Mary?
May was the look back period, October or November.
December?
December was the money we're keeping.
Right.
Okay.
Madam Chair, I did find the article that I was referencing that we had good news, and it was the Minnesota State Regulators rule that burning trash and wood can be considered carbon-free. To generate electricity will now be considered carbon-free under Minnesota's landmark clean energy law after decision by the Public Utilities Commission, the state utilities regulator, on a contentious hearing January 15th. So there are some, I would suggest to go to the, this is in the form under Minnesota State Regulators rule that burning trash, but that will be a positive to keep our incinerators open, because there's groups that are trying to close incinerators. It explains how they can do that and how they justify that in the paper. So
It's good to know. Thanks for that, Barry.
And I think that, that to add on to that, that PFAS, incineration burns this PFAS, which I think is something that is emerging, that's incinerators get rid of it at 1,800 degrees.
Serious concern for future.
So, I mean, incinerators are in a good position.
And you know, you would even think that they should be expanding incinerators.
Barry, I brought that up at the meeting.
I think so too.
And biomass. That
Okay.
produce electricity.
Last thing on our agenda is planning and zoning, and we have Kyle online. First up is proposed zoning ordinance amendments.
Good morning, commissioners. As Erica mentioned, there is 3 amendments for your consideration. What I'm requesting is permission just to take those 3 amendments to the zoning ordinance advisory committee for just to begin consideration. So there's no action today before you to act on them individually or anything of that nature. It would just be to, again, get permission to begin discussions on them.
So do we need a motion to give authorized permission to discuss
No.
them? Okay.
Madam Chair, I would like to, I think what we need to do, though, is establish a direction for the board consensus, some sort of direction to ask for where are we going with this. The first one, data centers.
Hold on, but Madam Chair, Commissioner Nelson, you had requested when we had a zoning ordinance committee meeting last year that this should go before the board before we start talking about it. So I think that's what Kyle's doing here, is coming before the board, and then we'll take it back to the zoning ordinance advisory committee, we'll discuss it, and then bring it back. Is that?
Well, I was just asking to get some background on what it is and where we're going. I mean, because
Do we
I
want
don't.
it more strict? Do we want it more lenient? Do we want it? Yeah.
I don't know where we're going with it. I mean, which direction are we and what language are we considering? This is the first I've seen the data center one. So what are we looking at?
So the data center is on the agenda because there's rumors circulating that one may be being considered in Becker County to apply. We currently don't have any regulations on them or anything of that nature. So just trying to get, I guess, ahead of any potential application we may see. So I don't have any language for you to consider because I'm just asking for permission to put language together because that is the direction that was given as Commissioner Hansen stated, about.
Yeah.
I'm all on board with that. I want to know where we are, what the pros and cons of a data center are, and which direction we should be going.
So do we want data? I think the question really is, do we want a data center in Becker County?
Or where in Becker
where?
County would be appropriate? What are the needs of a data center? I mean, it's a high water usage, high electricity usage. So I mean, I think there may be it's kind of like your larger egg farms. Do they fit in, do they have those type of requirements? I don't know. This one's new to me, so I'm asking. I'm asking so I get more informed on it. I know there's a lot of controversy because they can get such a huge footprint.
Yeah, I would say I'm not fond of having a data center in Becker County.
I wouldn't mind one.
I wouldn't.
They would employ a lot of people. I think they're like 40 acres. Is that one north
Well,
of Fargo, like 40
depends.
acres? Have you heard about it, Barry?
Well, I have not, I've heard about them. I think there's one out in Harwood. I'm not that familiar with them though, so I really don't know.
I'm just thinking that,
I-
because I know that they do take a lot of water resources.
Yeah.
A
And,
lot of water.
and
resources.
electricity.
Madam Chair, Kyle,
Do they cool it with water?
I understand the concerns, and that's just exactly why I have it on your agenda. Like I said last week, our office got a call about if one had been applied for here. It was a call from Ohio, and I said no, we've not had an application, but I just kind of asked the gal for some background on why she was calling, and she had said that there was just kind of rumors, I guess, that one was being applied for. I don't know if she was a competitor of that applicant that they think is coming here or trying to come here, but so I just wanted to get ahead of it, I guess.
Madam Chair, Kyle, does the state have any rules on data centers they must that would override whatever we come up with?
I can't answer that.
Okay,
At
remember
this
that
point,
conference
I
we
don't.
went to last fall down in St.
Yes.
Cloud? I think they talked about that. I can try to pull that information.
This obviously would require a COP though, right, or a conditional use permit? If they were.
Well, that's what we have to decide.
Yeah.
I mean,
I
I
think
part of
that's
the-
one thing that for sure.
If it's not in a city limit.
Yeah, yeah.
Which I don't think it would be in the city limit. And I don't know that they employ a lot of people. I mean, a data center is really just a building with a bunch of servers.
You're right.
I mean, that's all it is.
We should ask Judy maybe she could explain it, but. I mean,
Which is
what-
why it takes so much water, because you have to keep that room, that, like, a perfect example is we have the air conditioner in our server room.
In the middle of
Because
winter.
if it
air
gets too hot,
conditioning.
the server goes down. Well, that's what these big data centers are, is like our
Well,
big
then-
server room.
That's what they've said, is that you're going to see them proposed, up here versus down south, basically based off of temperature. So you're 100% correct.
Mm-hmm.
They like it up here because we are cold winters.
Madam
Yes.
Chair, Kyle, I think we don't know. I think we need to educate the board, and I don't know if some people
No,
are.
we don't. We don't. That's what I just was looking for permission to explore
Yes.
it. That's.
Yes.
Yes, and I think.
I don't know anything at this point.
I think if we have potential of one coming, I think this one probably should be a priority of the three, which is maybe why you have it listed as number one, but.
Yeah, especially if there's a possibility somebody might try.
Because I would,
come
no
in.
matter what, I would rather have something than nothing.
Yep.
So I mean, I think,
Well, and
yes,
just understand that the other option is, if that application, let's say we seen it tomorrow, the board could just consider a moratorium, and the purpose of that moratorium would be to allow us the time to consider amendments. So
6
this-
months to a year.
yes, so this is a good thing to try and get ahead of it, but for comfort, if it does show up tomorrow, we heard about it last week. If it shows up tomorrow, we still have time, where we have options, I should say.
good to know. Thanks, Kyle.
We have to do the moratoriums correctly, and I'm sure.
Yeah, we gotta do it correctly this time.
I'm sure our
Correct.
administrator will give us proper guidance.
All right, next, so the building height amendments, I think everybody got that email from, Mr., was it Ranstead? Is that what his last name is?
It's like Rain State or something like that.
Greens, yeah.
Yeah.
So, and this has been something he has been asking Kyle's office. He reached out to me a couple years ago when I first came into office, just asking for us to consider it. Everybody has the email about what he would want. I don't see an issue with it. I would support that amendment if that's what we want to move forward. And I think there was something else you were wanting to amend in it too, Kyle, how we measure it.
Yeah, I'd just like to explore if there's a different option on how we measure it to basically simplify how we do it. Right now, we're looking at averages of basically the topography as well as the roof itself, and that's just pretty difficult for us to measure. Trying to figure out what the average ground height is you basically need a surveyor to go out and do a whole topographical map for you. So it's just not that efficient, if that makes sense.
Madam Chair, so Kyle, you're talking about like a walkout basement? Where do you take the measurement from to get to the peak of the house? Is that the kind of thing it's hard to
Yes.
measure? Is that
Yes,
what?
exactly. So it's
Yeah.
not, you're not, Commissioner Hanson, you're not measuring from like the walkout itself, that ground elevation. You have to find the average between that walkout level and then the top floor. So it's just kind of difficult, if that makes sense.
So you're looking for a way to make this a little easier and kind of clean it up?
Yes, yes. While addressing that citizens' request for the increase in height, or how we measure height, I guess, could affect, what he's doing.
Okay. And then any further discussion on building height amendments?
Yeah.
I would bring us something to,
Well, he'll go to the zoning ordinance advisory committee first.
which is
And you're on
us.
that, yep.
And I just to let you know, I have a concern over height in the riparian, because I'm concerned of non-standard lots, and, you're very close to your neighbors. Now you're going to put a 3.5-story building next to a 1-story cabin that's been there for 40 years. So, the transition, that's where my concern is. If you're on an 80-acre lot, and I think you can build whatever you want if you're 500 feet from anyone else.
Which is, I know Mr. Ranstead, however you pronounce his last name, he is not, he's, I believe, on Highway 34.
But he could get a permit to do that. You could
He
get,
could, mhm.
I think maybe we could do an in-house administrative permit when you have that many acres and so many
Yeah.
feet, So I don't necessarily like the thought of not having height restriction on riparian lots. But
Can we just change our,
The max.
you could,
to only have height limits on those lots?
well, I think you have to go to committee and review, because there's lots of things that happen that you are not thinking of,
Sure.
So
Well, we'll.
I don't have a
bring it
problem
back to
reviewing
the-
it, because I think there are reasons to allow it in areas.
Yep.
With certain conditions, maybe acreage or distance from, but yes, so.
Okay, land and vegetation alteration amendments. Anything to say about that one, Kyle?
Yeah, so basically, the land alteration is the major goal there. We do have some vegetation things I'd like to review as well, but they kind of go hand in hand, because if you disturb land, you probably disturb vegetation. But the reasoning behind that one is, I believe you guys are all aware of the appeal that took place at the Board of Adjustments regarding the land alteration for Prairie Lake Investments. And basically, in a nutshell, what that appeal was is that our office, my position, does not have the administrative authority to basically grant land alterations for that, such as a project as that. And then when that appeal got brought forward, looking at, okay, what her argument was is that I can't do it outside of a subdivision or conditional use permit. So what I would like to do is clarify basically what authority my office has in those instances, if that makes sense. Just because right now it's not that clear.
Okay,
So
that's fair.
basically, okay.
That one's easy.
That one's easy, yep.
Okay. Anything
And then
more
the next-
on the zoning ordinance amendments proposed?
No, ma'am.
Okay, on to the conditional use permit inspection procedure.
I do believe that there has been past discussion at the board, just very minimal. I think I'll just let Commissioner Hanson elaborate on this a little bit if he's
Sure.
willing to do that.
Yes. We've talked about this a little bit in the past. I just thought that since we are issuing conditional use permits, there should be a follow-up to make sure they're being followed. And that's all this would be. We issue about 30, is it, Kyle, 30 conditional use permits a year?
That's a fair number, yes.
I do concur with Commissioner Varberg. I'm not trying to be snoopy, but I want to make sure they're asking us for something. I think we have a responsibility to make sure it was done properly. And this would be a follow-up procedure. Maybe it's a drive-by, just to make sure.
Madam Chair, Kyle, I have a quick question. So currently, does it depend on the year? If someone's got a conditional use for a small business out of their property, and they don't use that anymore, does that go away, or does that stay with the property forever?
I believe if it's not active for a period of 1 year, it goes away.
I mean,
And that would be after the 2009 amendment.
Right, because before that, they're grandfathered in to have that, and
But I also believe in statute, like if it kind of gets a little bit gray between what is a non-conforming use and then what was conditional. So prior to a conditional use permit, if it was active, okay, no matter the year, if it's not active for that 1 year period, I believe it goes away. And then after 2009 again, if it's not active for 1 year, it goes away. So the one catch there would be if there was a conditional use permit granted prior to 2009, I don't think there is a timeline for activeness, if that makes sense.
right.
Okay.
So my question now, the Dollar General on Becker County 5, south of the Cormorant Village, has now been non-active for a certain amount of time. Is that conditional use now? What are the proceedings now to eliminate that conditional use permit? Or how do we move forward on that? And that's an example of one where we should keep up to date if these are, still valid. Because what happens if in 5 years that sells and now you have a Dollar Tree comes in there? I mean, is it
Do they have to go
Do
through
they-
the conditional
yeah.
use permit again?
Yeah.
So I think what we could do just for our own sake, I was just pulling up this, but just to check the language. So the ordinance would automatically make it null and void. And what we could do is record a document, as some type of follow-up document to that conditional use permit that we granted, I guess, just to cover our own bases. So, if there was ever a transfer of title or something, that they couldn't say, well, we weren't aware of this, or if that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
we should have some documentation somewhere in there and how we get there.
Yeah.
It's sign off, we grant it, it's sign off that they did it right. That's what that's what I'm looking for. Kyle, could you tell me, how many
continue.
conditional use permits do we have in Becker County that have been issued do we even know that?
I do not know that number, no.
Okay.
Commissioner Hanson, are you specifically, like for the follow-up, are you specifically thinking when we add on amendments or conditions, I guess?
Like sign sizes, tree
Conditions to
sizes.
the conditional use permit,
Yeah.
is that what you're wanting to make sure?
Specifically,
There's gotta be
storage units,
tree
trees,
barrier
there are tree
barriers,
barriers. What if all the trees die? Do we have
Fencing.
something in place for that? I mean, you didn't want the trees to die. Well, I planted them. Well, you want to bury it. So it's just due diligence, follow-up. It's during the winter months when we've probably got more time in that office. That's what I was thinking.
Should we go around to everybody's place and that's not in business and make, and this is my problem. That there's so, you talk about making things fair, but if you can make things fair, you're in the wrong position here. Because there's so much that goes on in our county, and I don't want to pick on farmers, Barry, because I was raised on a farm. But come on our farm and look at what's there and say, yeah, it's okay for me to have all this old equipment and those old combines and this fence and all this stuff, but you've got one extra car here, or your trees died and you need to get them planted. And so this is my problem. It's never going to be fair. And
I think
I've been in business my whole life, and the government has been on my back. And they have been against me, and I don't care whether it's a trucking business or the Pollution Control Agency. And I do not want to get on somebody's back who's trying to start a small business and and picking at them, because there's so much.
If they've
that
agreed to the
doesn't-
terms that we've set forth and they want to do that
Yeah,
business there,
they-
I think
they-
then that's, I mean, I'm specifically thinking of screening for neighbors. I mean, that's the one, the neighbors didn't want it. We allowed it because we're going to try to do screening to help the neighbors with
It's
visually.
finding that balance
Right.
of property
I
owner's
don't-
rights.
I don't
and the
necessarily want to
neighbors.
go into business and look at I mean,
No,
but I want the screenings, if we require screenings for the joining properties benefit, I think those are things that we should make sure are complied.
And I don't have a problem with the screening, but I do have a problem if all the trees died and they weren't doing very good, and now we make them come in and, I'm just gonna tell you, I planted a bunch of trees, and my neighbor sprayed them with his sprayer. He denies it, but there's just a,
No, you can call,
Pollution
the
control.
Department of Ag, and they will test those, and they can tell you if they've been sprayed or not.
well, and
But, I mean, if you want,
yeah.
but it's still, if there's someone that has a responsibility to put a tree line there because it's required, then you are required to keep that.
Because that is a condition of the
Absolutely.
permit for
And I
them
think
to.
if you've got to replant them, then replant them. I mean, you can get trees you could be,
250.
yeah, you can get the small trees and they catch up to transplanted trees very quickly. So, I mean, I don't have a problem telling them, you have to plant more cottonwood trees, the seedless cottonwood trees, because they grow at a very fast rate.
So is this,
You could even maybe more specific to screening effects. You could say, we want to have and semi-annual, every 5 years, screening effects of the requirements of conditional use permits.
so for this, what Kyle's looking for direction, is this something that needs to be in the zoning ordinance, or is this just a policy for his office to follow?
This is just a policy.
Just a policy.
Okay.
Yeah.
I would agree with that.
Yeah, it would just be, so basically the reason it's before you is I didn't want to, go out and make contact with anybody. As Commissioner Hanson said, a lot of it would probably be just a drive-by. You drive by and
Yep.
say, okay,
Yeah.
they required a fence. Is the fence there? We
Yep.
don't necessarily, wouldn't need to go and knock on anybody's door. But
Correct.
for the case where we did, or there was a follow-up of a letter of enforcement, I didn't want you to get a call without you being in favor of this.
Mhm.
Basically wondering what is that office doing, doing this without, our consensus.
The other thing, Kyle, I'd like to, and I don't know if we can do this, but there's some that have conditional use permits that would like them, or maybe they're even zoned improperly. If you go back to, I think, I would like people to be able to go back to agriculture if they have say they've got commercial, and we had some of those commercial sites that want to go back to ag. I don't know why we would ever object to someone from commercial asking to go back to ag, and I don't know if we can just do that in-house or not. I don't know that you have, but can we give you the authority to allow commercial to go back to ag without going through any processes? Because there's been a couple cases where.
I think a change of zone by statute probably requires your action.
Okay.
I can check on that for you.
Yeah, well, and it's not a big deal. It only happens a couple times ever. But how about the other thing, the revoking of a conditional use permit, if it's requested by the applicant? I mean, because there's restrictions. I know one by my place, they're not supposed to have anything outside, by their conditional use permit. So their conditional use permits should be invalid, and they don't care because it's not that
So
use
it's not
anymore.
necessarily, it would be a revocation of the conditional use permit of the current landowner,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
So if
Because the conditional use permit goes along with
prior to
property,
2009, yeah.
prior to 2009.
And some of them don't even probably know they even have them.
They
Well,
probably
I
don't.
think even after 2009, it still goes along with the property.
Right, they all go with the property.
It's the after 2009
they're not
is
active.
if it's not
If it's
active
inactive.
for,
And that's something that we should monitor to some degree if it's a non-active conditional use permit
But
for a bit, like I know of one that's a small business, and right now it's just people live there with a camp.
I think if the people that own the property requested and it's not active, I don't see any reason why we just can't get rid of it. I mean,
Just have them sign off on it.
sign off on it.
In a
yeah.
year, didn't you say it goes away?
Not if
Right.
it's after 2009, though.
if it's
not.
before 2009.
Before 2009, it doesn't.
But I don't know, I think we're all kind of in agreement that,
I would agree.
Well, no, Richard,
well,
you don't
Phil,
want to do this,
I'll
right?
give you an example. So we have septic system compliance on lakes, okay? And we have something in place that if your contractor can't get to it and it's not an imminent health risk, then you can wait. to have yours done, so you don't have to choose a contractor you don't want. And we don't have the person anymore, but we had an inspector going around and knocking on people's doors saying, why haven't you done this? They didn't know, I don't want it to get out, if it's an absolute drive-by and we make that understanding, I don't have a problem, and I don't have a problem with the screening. But if we start, but this is who's doing the inspections and who's doing this, and it gets out of hand and.
Right, I would share the
That's what
concern.
worries me.
And I do
That's
too.
why I like
agree
if
with that
there's a
too.
complaint,
Yeah.
we follow up on it, but I don't want to get out of hand and start
Yep.
giving people a hard time.
Well, I know Kyle said that he could manage it, but every time you put another task on it, it has more responsibility and more on staff. So I think this should be I think the screenings parts, I think those are most important to me. What affects?
And I don't have a problem
What
with the
affects
screening.
your adjoining property owners is what I have the most concern.
Yeah, I think another
That
thing
would
is
be-
parking requirements. Do we ever put conditional use permits on, or conditions on conditional use permits for parking or lighting, or like those things that are, again, a condition to us saying you can do this business or whatever it is, but this is what you have to follow to appease, the surrounding property owners. So I don't think we should be going around and
Or,
knocking on people's doors,
another
but I think
thing
there should be some follow-up.
is maybe just a letter sent to them saying, are you,
We,
these
Yep.
are compliance things, please check those. Are you still, do you
Yeah.
still have compliance in these? We just send a letter to them and remember, these are conditions of your conditional use permit to remind you that these are still enforceable. And that might be, if we especially were concerned about screening for your neighbors.
my idea was a year follow-up letter to state that, do
Yeah.
the drive-by and state that.
That's very
You need to be
minimal.
client. We noticed that you've got 12 vehicles out there and you're not supposed to have those. There's
Right.
junk all over. This kind of leads, that was my idea of have a year review after it's been issued.
And that your example
follow-up.
would lead to more of a business that has like a mechanic or something there. And I think if you remember that in some cases, there's been cases that say, this place has been had a lot of vehicles already. We're worried that it's only going to get worse. So I mean, and conditions have been put on, you're only allowed this many cars because the neighbors have concerns that you're going to get worse in this property. Because there are, so I think that's a letter stating, I think that's a fairly reasonable request. After 1 year, you send a letter just saying, these are,
Just a reminder.
reminder, these are conditions on your conditional use. As we were near your property, we noticed this may be in violation, so.
Madam Chair, Kyle, is this something that is doable to come up with something like what we've been talking about?
Yeah, I think I have pretty clear direction. And after, speaking with you yesterday, I understand your expectation. Again, just wanted a consensus. So,
Yep.
if somebody does make a phone call to one of you, that you are aware of what we're doing.
All right. All right, anything else? Thanks, Kyle.
Thanks, Kyle.
Thank you.
All right, anything else before we adjourn? Just a reminder, we have lunch with department heads,
Time.
11:15.
So that now that we've had a half an hour, we can go into some things that I would like to just, dialogue for.
Is it on the agenda?
Meaningless dialogue for the next half hour?
Meaningless dialogue is not on the agenda.
No. Do we adjourn or we just recess till after the?
Well, we can't really talk about anything because it's not on the agenda. That was the last thing, correct?
The adjourn part that's my question.
What do you have?
You said you
What is your
didn't want
question
to
about
adjourn.
adjournment?
What is the
Sorry?
actual definition of?
What does adjournment mean?
It's over.
Can you meet afterwards when we go up and have lunch? We should be in recess till we?
It's not a,
No, because it's not a closed session. It's just similar to us having,
But is it
Like a work
it's
session.
advertised so we can attend that without being adjourned?
yep, correct.
So we're going to go in.
We're having a work
Meeting is
session, we're
adjourned.
gonna eat food.
meeting is adjourned.
I was going to acknowledge but Sheriff Glander left. I
Oh,
wish he
yeah,
would
that's
have.
right, yeah.
I wanted to